Today we're going to look at something really interesting, one professor's playbook for completely reimagining the modern classroom. We're going to break down how Dr. Faycal Saffih is using research and some pretty cool tech to tackle the biggest challenges in education right now.
All right, let's just start with a huge question, right? What does the classroom of the future actually look like? I mean, we all know that old model, a professor talking at a quiet room of students. That's being challenged, and honestly, for some really good reasons. So today, we're going to explore one possible answer, and it's a pretty powerful one.
So to really get this, we have to start by understanding the problem itself. That's what this first section is all about, the modern teaching challenge. Let's dig into why the old ways just aren't cutting it anymore.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. It's a real, urgent need that educators are feeling every single day. Dr. Saffih says it pretty bluntly. The classical way of teaching needs to change drastically. That quote, that's really the starting point for everything we're about to talk about. So you gotta ask, what's behind this huge push for change?
Well, Dr. Saffih boils it down to two main things. First, there's the psychology of it all. So many old school teaching methods they completely ignore how our brains are wired to learn, to remember things, and to create. And second, there's multimedia. I mean, it's obvious, right? New generations are just built differently. They grew up absorbing everything digitally. And a standard lecture, it just can't keep up.
Okay, so if those are the challenges, what's the answer? That's where we get to Section 2, Embedding Intelligence in Education. This is the core idea, Dr. Saffih's whole philosophy. It's a new way of thinking that's specifically designed to fix those psychology and multimedia problems we just talked about.
So what does that even mean, embedding intelligence? Well, think of it like this. It's a teaching style that's all about building self-awareness right into how a student thinks. The whole point isn't just to dump information on them. No, it's about making them active, motivated learners who actually get how they learn best. And this chart, wow, it lays out the difference perfectly. You've got the old way on the left, right? It's all about the teacher, you're just passively listening, and everyone's forced to go at the same speed. But then look at the right, the student-centered way. It's all about getting involved, being creative, going at your own pace, and, this is huge, getting constant feedback. It's a total flip in who the classroom is actually designed for.
Okay, a philosophy is one thing, but how do you actually do it? How do you make it happen in a real classroom? That's what Section 3 is for, the Blended Learning Playbook. This is where we get to see how these big ideas get turned into actual practical tools and strategies.
The core strategy here is something called blended learning. And it's a really simple idea, but it's super powerful. You just combine online stuff that students can do on their own time with the normal in-class experience. The whole idea is to build a learning space that's way more flexible and way more supportive.
Now this is where it gets really cool. The actual digital toolkit the professor uses. I mean, look at this, a YouTube channel just for the course so you can rewatch lectures. A tool called PlayPosit that puts interactive quizzes right inside the videos. TeamViewer so you can do one-on-one screen sharing and support remotely. And of course, Google Forms to get that all-important anonymous feedback from the students. Let's just zoom in on that YouTube workflow for a second, because it's so simple and that's why it works so well. Step 1, record the class. Step 2, post it online. Step 3, students get involved. Yeah, they can rewatch it, but here's the magic part. They can drop a question in the comments at the exact timestamp where they got lost. Think about that. That's a total game changer for getting help right where you need it. But you know, a system like this can't just be set in stone. It has to grow and change. And that brings us to Section 4, the continuous feedback loop. Because you have to ask, right, how do you know if any of this is actually working? So here's how it works. First, they send out anonymous surveys. Then the professor crunches the data to see what the trends are. Now, step 3 is the really important one. He shares all of that, the results and the analysis, openly with the students. And then step 4, he actually changes how he teaches based on what they said. It basically creates this partnership where everyone is working together to make the class better. All right, so we've seen the problem, the big idea, and the actual playbook. Now for the moment of truth. Section 5. Let's evaluate the impact. Did this whole student-centered approach actually pay off?
So what happened? Let's just start with a cold, hard number. The official teaching evaluation score from the students themselves was a pretty impressive 76.33%. That gives you a really solid number to show just how much the students appreciated this new way of doing things.
But it wasn't just the students who were impressed. This whole blended learning model got a ton of recognition from other academics too.
It was actually published and presented at a huge conference for the American Society for Engineering Education. I mean, that's a pretty big seal of approval from other experts in the field.
You know, numbers and awards are great, but maybe the most powerful proof is just the human side of it. Dr. Saffih started getting emails from students in Turkey. They were watching his YouTube channel with their classmates. It just goes to show, when you make education open and accessible like that, it can reach people all over the world, way beyond the four walls of your own classroom.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. This whole system, all these tools, this entire philosophy, was put together by one single professor. And it just makes you think, right? If one person can do all this, what could an entire university achieve? What could our whole education system do if it adopted this kind of thinking? It really is a powerful thought for what the future of learning could look like.